Alright, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. And as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD or Application and Website Development Program, and in particular the AWD1100 C# Programming Fundamentals class, I've been doing a series of video presentations based on the book to be used for that class. The book, as you can see here, is Muroc C# 2015. So far I have done lectures for chapters 1 through 5 and part of 6. But it occurred to me that when I'd also done these programs based on payroll applications, that I've been kind of making it a perpetual program, they've all been GUI programs. And I think it's important that I take the time to also go over how to do a console program. So I'm going to do that as well right now. So I've got this program from chapters 2 and 3, and we've got some constants, what we do when there's a calculate button clicked, what we do when there's a clear button clicked, etc. Alright? And exit. So I'm going to write basically the same type of program, but I'm going to write it as a console application. So let me start up a new instance of Visual Studio 2019, and we will create a new project. And what I have been doing is Windows Forms app. So I've been creating, wherever it is here, a Windows Form app. But I'm going to do a console app instead. Click Next. I'm going to put this, and I'm going to call this Payroll Console Chapters 2 and 3. And we'll leave the solution name the same thing. I do want to change though and make sure that I've given myself a little place to hold these programs. Under my desktop I've created a folder called C# Programs Done. And in there I've got my Chapter 2 program. I got to find my Chapter 4 and put it in there, and my Chapter 5 program. So make sure that's changed. It has. Click Create. I don't envision this taking real long. Alright, just because of the fact there wasn't a lot of code in the other program. Alright, so the first thing that I want to do is, and it may not seem like it's something I need to do, but you'll see why in a minute. And that is, I'm going to do a using, I don't have to do this in a GUI program, but I'm going to say using what is it? Static system dot console. You'll see why we're using that in just a couple minutes. Okay, but let's just jump back. And in the other program, the GUI one, what do we have here? Well, we've got these constants. I can still use those. I don't think I'm even using them in the program yet, but I'll put them in there anyway. And you'll notice that once I do, I don't get any errors. I mean, everything is fine. Here we go. Sorry, I'm so anal about this stuff. So we've got that. The next thing. Oops. We've got our calculate button. Okay, there won't be a calculate button, but I can grab all of this stuff anyway. And then I'll grab the clear button stuff, and then I'll grab the exit button stuff. Alright, so let me just grab all this. I'm going to get a bunch of errors when I put that in. Don't worry about it. We'll literally fix them in a matter of minutes. Alright, so in main here, I will create these variables. String first name, and I'm going to set it equal to nothing. String last name that I'll set equal to nothing. Decimal hours worked that I'll set equal to 0M. Hourly rate, which I'll set equal to 0M. And now that looks good. All right. So let's pretty this. All right. So I've got those. And let's, in fact, to keep this as simple as possible, let's make all of our variables here. Oops. Oh, that was great. Let's make all of our variables here global. All right. I guess I can say declare. Now I don't need that. And I'll put these right here. There we go. Okay, the reason I'm getting these errors is since this is static, all of these variables must also be declared as static. You'll notice once I do that, the errors will start going away. See that? All right. So I've got all that, and let's try to again make this look a little nicer. So don't worry if I get errors, it'll be fine. So the first thing I want to do is I want to call calculate gross pay, which I haven't written, so that'll give me an error. Then print totals, which I haven't written, and run program again, which I haven't written. So the first one will be to calculate. In fact, before I calculate them, I should input hours, input values. All right, so let's do that first. This will have to be static because it's dealing with stuff in main. So static void input values. Notice how that error went away. I'm going to grab this, but it's not. That's not all of it. All right. So the first thing I want to do is I want to come in here and say right line, please enter hours worked. All right. Hours worked equals convert dot to decimal read line. Okay. Now I want to do basically the same thing with hourly rate. All right. Now I can come in and add my calculate gross pay. So that's done. So here I'm going to say input hours worked. And here I'm going to say input hourly rate. Okay, so those will both be done. So that's done. Now I can actually calculate the gross pay. And in fact, I can call calculate gross pay from right here. Still getting the error because I haven't written it yet. So you'll notice that now that's gone away, and I don't need this anymore. So here we've got that. I can use this, and of course I'll have to make some changes. Alright, so that'll pretty that up. So that's both of those. Alright, so that's everything I want to print out. So I've called calculate gross pay there, and what's left? Print totals. So did I goof up here? Yes, I did. This is actually print totals. And calculate gross pay will be right up above that. And that'll be gross pay equals hours worked times hourly rate, semicolon. All right, and now this can actually call print totals. So I no longer need this. So all I need is run program again, okay? It's not returning anything, so I always have to put a return type in there regardless. Alright, I have no errors right now, so the only thing I have to write yet is the only thing I have to write is my run the program again. And how do I want to run that? Write that. So let's see. Read line to run the program again. Just hit the enter key now. Alright, so I'll put that in there. So I've got that in there as a read line. Why is that giving me an error? Oh, that should be a write line, I'm sorry. Write line to run the program again. I'm going to make a variable in here, and I'm going to call it, I'll make it a string, and I'll call it again. And I'll set it equal to the empty string. Alright. Write line. To run the program again, just hit the enter key. To exit program now, hit Q and then the enter key. Not perfect, but it'll work. Again, equals read line. If, again, equal Q, and that should be Q in double quotes. We'll just call main to run the program again. In fact, I don't really like calling main, but not considered great to do it that way, but let's see. And it's expecting some string argument, so I'll just put in the empty string. String array equals empty string array. I'm making this much harder than it has to be. Let's not allow the user to run the program again. All right, because it's just going to take too much code. So, to exit the program now, just hit the enter key. Okay? All right. Need one more curly, which I removed. All right. I believe this should run. There shouldn't be any problem, but let's give it a try. Got errors. Well, for some reason it's telling me that it's expecting another curly. No idea why. All right, I think that's everything. So let's run it, see if it works, then come back and look at it. Please enter hours worked. That should have been a read, not a read line, but 40. Please enter hourly rate, 20. Okay, and everything works. No biggie. So let's make some quick changes, and then we didn't enter in a first name and a last name, so we can enter those too. This should have been a right, so that would have looked a little bit nicer, and that should have been a right. All right, grab these. So this will be input first name. Sorry, this is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. Let's check my time. All right, I'm at almost 20 minutes, so first let's make sure that it runs. It should. Then I'll come back and talk about it, okay? All right, so please enter first name, Jeff. Please enter last name, Scott. Please enter hours worked, 50. Hourly rate, 20. And there's our information. To exit the program now, just hit the enter key. Boom, I'm done. I can also make that a right. Let's save. That's it for this. I'll come back and explain it in just a minute.